Going on, good people, and welcome to what is the last episode of this season for Beyond the Resume. Though a short season, there are a couple things that I wanted to just to hyper focus on and truly align with my first episode, which I entitled "The Betting Season," was exactly that. I went into this wanting to 10x and figure out exactly how do I get this to millions of people. But as I started to unravel things, I really wanted to really focus on what is it that I feel as though needs to be discussed, right? So I went through this exercise of understanding what my voice is, the narrative I wanted to push, the agendas I wanted to really capture, the scope and also the framework behind this podcast. Learning how to, apply a different subset of skills to something that's unfamiliar with me. So I started to completely divorce myself from this 10x mentality to understanding what is it that I want to do in this space, right? What's the legacy that I want to continue to push forward as I dive into different conversations and so on and so forth. In line with the very first episode, which I entitled Betting Season, I also wanted to understand what did it look like for me to stand on my own feet, right? I mentioned in the first episode, and kind of adding more context to those who haven't, heard that episode, is that I had this running trend where prior to this, there were a couple of things that always happen. If I had an idea for a new project, a new business, I was really good at calling up all my dearest friends that offered a different, skill set that could take it to the next level. And we will rally behind it because they understood the vision. But I ended up getting to a position to where I couldn't move without them. And what I mean by that is all of a sudden, I'm the one that put this team together. But when I tried to really drive it forward and take it to the next level, it was almost crippling because I wouldn't move forward until I got approval from people, right? So this gift and a curse of me getting everyone in the same boat, understanding, hey, this is what we need to do to make this billion-dollar company. It also became my curse because sooner or later, I don't know, it's almost like I forgot my why behind certain things. And it wasn't to discount any of them. It was just myself. There's some things that I had to work on myself. So that's something I wanted to really focus on here, of figuring out what is it that Patrick believes in. I don't want to pull in everyone else. I didn't want to pull in a co-host. I wanted to really understand what is it that I'm aligned with? What are my principles? What are my foundational things that I'm not going to waiver? And that's what, what this first season was for me. Number two, another key takeaway that I learned from this is that you're not going to be good the first go around, and that's okay. And I'm hoping that from these conversations and also the things that I share on IG and other public sites, YouTube and so on and so forth, that this becomes the vessel or at least a platform for other people to warrant that it's okay not to be good the first time around, because you're not going to be, right? We're in a position where, I don't know, if you're doing something right now, you've been doing for X amount of years, you're really good at it. All the different nuances, the right people to call. And we get real comfortable in that space to where, we're hesitant to branch off and try different things because we know it's going to be hard and it's going to be uncomfortable. But then in that layer of being uncomfortable, that's when you start to grow. So I'm hoping that from these conversations, hopefully it's the bridge between what I am doing and still unraveling and unfolding and figuring out exactly, me as I navigate into these uncharted territories, that I could be an example for someone else that could look at this and say, you know what, if Pat could do it, I could do it too. Or vice versa. I see what you're doing and then, I could learn as well. Number three, what I wanted to really focus on, but number three, I actually have a lot of points now I think about it, but number three was just unapologetically being myself and being my truest voice through this whole thing. Coupled with the first key takeaway is finding out what is it that I want to focus on. But number three is more so of, having that global alignment or that alignment with God as far as like purpose and vision, and not just chasing the shiny object, but really chasing what is it that I'm intentionally designed to do. And am I saying that this is the end product? I don't know, but I feel really good that as I am in this mold, if you will, that I am fine tuning different things and getting closer to that. And I think that that's the whole purpose of trying new things and exploring different things, is that as you start to unravel and go into those things, I'm using that word unravel with pure intention. As you start to unravel, and get exposed to different things, then you get this total alignment of what is it that you're supposed to be doing. But you won't know that until you have these different experiences, right? I broke this down to 3 key takeaways, but for some reason, number 4 is the one that's really pulling me. And it's still coupled to that last statement of being in this new uncharted territory. But for me specifically, and this is me kind of talking to myself, oddly enough, is I had to better myself, right? I had to really learn these different skill sets and apply these different skill sets from a conformed mentality of just the 9 to 5, which I tend to compartmentalize. I take in all the different things I do from a 9 to 5 perspective and all these different deliverables and programs that I scale up, with my skill sets, but I don't take those same skill sets and apply it anywhere else. So it's almost like I feel convicted almost. It's funny. It's almost like I'm also learning that, hey, stop compartmentalizing your different efforts, right? You have a skill set that you're utilizing over here. Why don't you apply that to something else? So that wasn't planned, but that's sort of where I'm at right now of, how do I take the things I do over here and apply them to my body of work, right? Scale these up and push the agenda that I want to share with the masses. So I end with that, saying that this is really a quick podcast episode, but I'm excited for season 2. Season 2, I'm gonna start tapping into some of my peers, the people that I look up to, some people I consider part of my wise counsel. So I would love to pull them into these conversations, pull them into this capacity. You hear some of the conversations that we have, and I'm just excited for what's to come from this. And if this is your first time listening to this, I encourage you to listen to the other episodes. And I apologize because the quality is not going to be the best. This is my first go round kind of doing this on my own. From the production to recording to learning about different software tools, editing, and so on and so forth. This is all brand new for me, but I assure you, if you stay in a journey and you follow me as I track forward, it's going to get better because I'm going to be applying some new skill sets to it and commit all the way. All right. So y'all be easy. Once again, thank you for listening to what I'm considering the last episode of this season, Beyond the Resume. And look out for the season number 2. Y'all be easy.